go. We're going in. This is where we go off the main road to get back into our property. Hi, how you doing? This is Orly Young Road. Down there, that's the wildlife area that's adjacent to our property. If you can hear me, it's the Catoosa Wildlife Area. Grasshopper. Damming up the ravine, so he's got a pond down there. Nice entranceway. I think we'll do this with our property too. Alright, back to the road. runs. It runs back through there. Comes from over here. There it is. There's Vic's property. Our other neighbor, he doesn't live there, he just uses the land. Around the corner, and here we are. Home. Okay, here we have the property. We're in the, I guess, the southwest corner of the property. I'm going to show you everything here. It's a lot nicer now, and grass is cut. A lot of bugs, though. You're going to be hearing that a lot. Lots of bugs. So when we came down in April and bought the place, I didn't have the tripod, so all the video was shaky, so I'm just going to do this, give you a really good idea of what the place looks like. A lot of trees, a lot of brush, a lot of field grass and all that stuff. This place is going to look totally different after we get our house built and get the place done. Plan is, down here is the stream. I'm going to clear out all the brush and everything so we can get down to the stream. Okay, it's not a big stream, just a little one. It's called a headwater type of stream because there's nothing else flowing into it. This flows down into a bigger creek a couple miles away. There's the neighbors across the street. We got Vic out mowing his field across the road here. This is our road. That's the corner of the property. Vic's got about 50 acres, more or less, on the other side of the road here. There's his garden. He gardens. He's got corn growing now. Has some apple and pear trees, I think is what's over there. It's really quiet here, except for the mowing. And there we go. Now we're going to go up to that corner right up there where those trees are. Here we are in the corner of the property. This is the, I guess, northwest corner. Here's a big tree. Big tree. Anyway, so there's the property line. The fence is the property line going around here. Here's our another neighbor. Don't know his name, but he's some good old boy. They call everybody good old boy and some fellas up here. Fellers. Anyway, right there is the corner of the property, another corner. It's really odd shaped property, but it works out for what we want to do. Did I say there's a lot of bugs here? Right there is about where the house is going to be. And there's the kind of view we have. Nothing but trees and that stuff. Right there, right now, is the entrance to the property, that horse gate. And that's where we are here. Okay, here we are at the top of the property, the far north corner. Everything goes downhill from here. Right here is about, right where these trees are is where we're going to build the house. The only place out in the field we can build the house. Everything else is pretty rocky. Neighbor's out mowing his yard. There's some more of the view we're going to have. what we're going to do is have the driveway come into this top end of the property over where that tree is, run around along the fence line here, and then take a right down into where those trees are, where the garage is going to be, to the right side of the house. Here's about where the house is going to be. I'm standing right probably on the left side of the house, the one that's going to be closest to the property line over here. And just spin it around. We're going to have a really nice view. It's just going to be trees and hills. This will be our view from the morning, a living room type of thing, the kitchen. That's where I'm doing some work. That right there is a brush pile, but it's a bunch of junk in there. I'm going to get that cleared out. Down there's another brush pile that I had to get some stuff out. There's some rocks and logs and stuff in there. They couldn't mow there, so it got grown up. All kinds of blackberries. There's my arm. I've been damaged, all scratched up from the blackberries. Anyway, so there's out to the field. These trees, like I said, are going to have to come down for the house. Garage will be right there, so back up there, that's when the driveway will come down to the garage. Anyway, over there, that's the other guy's property that I don't know his name yet. All this right in here. Right about here, where I'm going to stop. This is about the property line right here, adjacent to his. It goes straight back in there to where that rock outcroppment is, and about 200 yards in. So right here's the stream. There's not a lot of water in it right now, but there's enough. It's a nice little stream. It's a head stream, so there's nothing else flowing into this. This flows out into a larger creek about a couple miles away or so. And here we go around there. Creek just follows. That's upstream on the creek right there. And here we go out into the field again. Right there's the brush pile. That brush pile that I'm clearing out, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Then there's this one. There's pallets and all kinds of stuff in there. Anyway, this is probably the lowest part of the field. Don't know what we'll do with these trees. Again, where the house is going to be. That fence is the fence back to the wooded part of the property. And here we are, and nothing but here but brush. Lots of brush. Lots of clearing out to do. The plan is to go all the way down the stream and clear all this underbrush out so we can get down to the stream. There's some nice holly plants. Holly trees. Bushes, whatever they are. And back around to the stream. So there's a nice little area right down by the stream. Stream goes back in there. I think this is where I said meanders back into the property. That across the stream is the Catoosa Wildlife Area. It's like 40 some odd thousand acres of nothing but that stuff. A lot of deer, bear, coyote, puma, snakes, bugs, lots of bugs. Anyway, so there's the creek, stream, whatever. This is where the horses the guy had would come down and drink. Coming up is my little encampment. This is my little home away from home while I'm doing the work out here. This is nice. It's nice and shaded anyway. Got my chairs, table, cooler, firearms, just in case. A lot of stuff. Brought some stuff I didn't need. Mainly it's just that weed whacker type thing with a couple of attachments. I gotta have a chainsaw too for cutting down the fallen trees and stuff. But anyway, so it's really nice under here. We'll clear away all this brush and stuff. They've done that across on the other side there where their property is, where they've cleared out everything, all the underbrush. It looks pretty nice, nothing but trees left. You get right down to the creek. And There's the other field. This is basically what there is of the property on the field. And then we'll go back. There's a lot of blackberries in here. The thorns, that's what cut me up, scratched me up my forearm. Anyway, so that's it. That's pretty much all there is for the field part of it, and then we'll get back to the back area where all the woods are. So here's the entrance to the wooded area. I think somebody's coming through here, leaving the gate open. Anyway, they take their four-wheel drive things, ATVs, run down there, go across the creek, and into the wilderness area. It's pretty thick back here. So here's where we just came from, a little bit in, and you can see it's pretty thick stuff. This is stuff I'm going to have to clear out once we're done with the field and got the house built and all that stuff. I got to get the field done first, then I'm going to come in here and start doing some work clearing all this out, this underbrush out. Leave the trees. It'll be really nice here with just trees. These are oak and hickory for the most part. There's some pine trees back here. It's really quiet back in here. Really, the only thing you hear is the occasional bird and stuff. Insects, crickets, whatever they are. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be cleared out here. The creek's down there somewhere. But I want to be able to, like I said, get down to the creek anywhere on the property. Looks like a jungle. Can you imagine the guys coming out here in the 1700s and clearing this land? What a lot of work. So, this is part of the things that sold us on the property, is having this little rock thing outcropping here, or whatever it is, right here. I plan to clear this all out of here, put a nice little picnic area in here for us to come back and just sit down in the trees and all that stuff, and the ticks and insects and stuff, and relax. We're about 50, 60 yards in. Goes up that hill, then back down, so we're going to go farther in. Swinging around toward the creek. There's a big tree that fell. Have to cut that out. There's a little wet stream that comes out of that rock, depending on how much it's been raining or so. Not very much water, but it's enough to flow and keep it a little bit muddy. Okay, here's where I just came from. I'm just about on top of the hill, high part of the wooded area. As I say, we have a lot of blackberries bushes, wild blackberry bushes, and scratching me up really good trying to clear them out. Grass is pretty tall back here too. The blackberries are yummy though. So the property takes off farther in that direction, another probably 70 or 80 yards. We're going to go back in there. And here's more of that stuff. Thick, thick, thick. It'll probably take me years to get all this cleared out and kind of developed. Tame the land a little bit. Yeah, I couldn't imagine hacking my way through that stuff. Going to though. And there we are. Okay, I don't know if you can see it very well, but right through there, right there is a pipe, about a 2 or 3 inch pipe with a little blue flag on it. That's the property corner. And the property, if I can zoom out, no, it won't let me zoom out. I'm going to stop it and zoom out. And here we go. So we're zoomed out. And this is where the property goes. I'm going to move the tripod. property runs down. This is the northeast edge, and it runs right down through about that direction. There's a lot of stuff out here. So the previous owner actually bulldozed a bunch of trees down to make this road, service road back here. And he took it down the hill and was going to loop it back up and around. Said he was going to build a cabin back in there. Nice place to build a cabin, I guess, if you want to do that. More like camping. I'd rather have the hotel. Anyway, that's where we came from. We're going to go down to the creek.